I love comforting food, especially on cold days like today, and I'm going to share with you how I make a copycat version of Cracker Barrel's chicken and dumplings. It's one of me and my husband's absolute favorites. It's comforting, it's filling, it's homemade, and it's so good. I use a copycat recipe. I've adapted it for what fits my life, and I'm going to share that all with you today. The shopping list and the written instructions will be in the description, but I'm going to take you step by step and show you how you can make this delicious meal. Let's go. Okay, you want to start with 12 cups in your Dutch oven and get that boiling while you prep your veggies. Okay, my water is now boiling, and this recipe that I have adapted comes from a book from the 90s, Top Secret Recipes from Restaurants. It's the Cracker Barrel chicken and dumplings, but I don't make it this way, so I'm sharing with you my recipe, but it is adapted from this. I have 5 stalks of celery cut up. I have 5 cloves of garlic. I've chopped an entire onion, and these are just rough chops because we're going to be straining out all the broth. I have 12 cups of water that's boiling. I'm going to add in an entire tablespoon of dried parsley, about 3 bay leaves, and then I'm putting in 3 very giant chicken breasts. You boil it, I'll pull the chicken breasts out, pull away any fat that remains, and then we strain the broth. So we're going to get this going now that the water is boiling. Okay, my chicken's been going for almost 4 hours now, and I'm going to pull the chicken out and then I'm going to strain the rest. We will be tossing all of the celery and onions and garlic. We're just keeping the broth, trimming the chicken, and putting the chicken back in eventually. So all of this stuff is going to go right into the garbage. Sometimes my kids like to eat the celery, but we're left with all of this wonderful chicken broth that's going to be the base for the dumpling gravy. We are going to add in 2 tablespoons lemon juice. Replace 12 cups of the chicken broth into the pot, put it on a low simmer, and add in 2 tablespoons lemon juice, 2 teaspoons coarse ground black pepper, and a teaspoon of salt. And while that heats up, we are going to get the dumplings mixed together. While the broth is reheating, we're going to add 4 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons baking powder, 2.5 teaspoons salt, and 2 1/4 cup of milk. I usually use 2%, but I'm trying to use up the whole milk. We add that together to make our dumpling mixture. Once you get it all mixed, you want to let it rest for about 10 minutes before you roll out the dough. During waiting times like this is the perfect time to clean your counter, get it ready to roll the dumpling dough out, take care of any ingredients or supplies. I like to clean as I go, and that's what I'm going to do now. Getting our area ready now to dump out the dumplings and roll them and cut them. Kind of work it into a pliable dough set here, and then we will roll it and roll it as thick as you like your dumplings, and then we'll use a pastry wheel to cut them. Now we will take this, I'll link below to my pastry wheel. I'm not sure if that's exactly what it's called, but I'm just going to start cutting dumpling shapes, and they will expand, of course, in the broth, so you don't want to cut them super big. I'm making my rows, and then I'll cut them into little rectangles. I'm never too worried about them being exactly uniform because, well, I don't really care. So now that you have all of your little dumplings cut, you're gonna pick them up, move them over here, and drop them one at a time into your broth, and you're gonna let them cook for about half an hour. I am gonna turn down the heat though. Also, it goes quicker when you're not filming it with one hand. If I was smart, I would have cleaned right here and done it, but I didn't. There's no room to drop the dumplings in, so I put them on top and then I'll stir them in. Remember, don't worry about it losing your broth. This is meant to become more of a gravy and you're not meaning to have a soup here. And you can see how these dumplings just get really large, and we haven't even added the chicken back in. So we're gonna simmer this again for about half an hour. Look at those boys. Put the lid back on and it's on as low as it goes. I will be stirring it though. You can see as I stir, these dumplings are breaking down a little bit. It makes the gravy thicker, and I just keep stirring it for the next, until the 30 minutes is up. And in that time, you can also trim and chop your chicken. Most of the fat fell off the chicken when it was boiling, so I didn't have much to do, but you want to cut your chicken into bite-sized pieces before we add it back in. And you can get that done in the half an hour while you're cooking your dumplings. But you can see the gravy is thickening up the more this cooks, which is exactly what we want. We're gonna add the chicken into the cooked dumplings and cook it for about 20 more minutes. So here it is, perfect. We had a snow day today, perfect for a snow cold day. Our bellies will be warm, and I served it with green beans. I made rolls, but you can make buttermilk biscuits, cornbread muffins. This is a wonderful winter meal. Again, I adapted it from a Copycat, but this is how I make it because I don't use a whole chicken, and I make a lot more dumplings and gravy. I didn't share it in this video, but I love to put the chicken and dumplings right next to a pile of mashed potatoes. It really doesn't get more comforting than that. And if you want to see exactly how I make mashed potatoes, family favorite, a quick win in my house, you can check out this video right here. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao, Donna, ciao.